Okay, that's the best angle I could get. This holder only moved at one side, but it moves at two sides, and then it makes it difficult to adjust. Oh, there we roll. There we go. I'm just rolling with that. Making my way around the maze, because it's amazing. Remember to hydrate and drink your water, especially when it gets hot out. Excuse me. Just realized the other roller's not washed out. That's a whole different story. But we're going to focus on cutting. I'm going to do more cutting until I get a chance to wash that roller out. We put it in a bag to save it and preserve it. Long story short, I wrap it in like usually 3 or 4, if it's outside paint, bigger roller, 5 bags. And especially if I'm only letting it sit overnight. And then it saves the paint in the roller. Saves the paint in the roller for a few hours later, the next day, so you don't have to wash it out. Because when you wash a roller and paintbrush out, it uses a lot of paint. And if you got a small amount of paint like this and you don't have a lot, it really makes a difference to me. So if I'm just letting it sit for a few hours or overnight, I mean, I've set it for a couple days, but usually if I know I'm not touching it for a week, I'm washing this stuff out. And if you use 5 bags, it's way better in case you got some of like those little grocery bags, in case they have holes in them. So I'll wrap it in like 5 grocery bags, or at least 2 or 3 if there's no holes in them. And I'll wrap the brush separate from the roller, and it does make a difference. So, since the nicer roller is not washed out, because it's still, I need it to touch a couple spots of the eggshell white ceiling. So that's why I did not wash it. And because I just painted it yesterday. Yesterday. So, because I still need it. So now that I realize that, I am definitely going to be cutting. That's why I like, because I don't have to, if this was not taped and I'm using this brush, I am not going to take the time to tape it. But since it was taped, it's ready to go. Now some people do it different. I like to brush it out, fan it out this way. Some people just go up and down and they're happy with it. You know, I'm not telling you what's right or wrong. This is the way I like it. I like to feather it like this here, like in the corners. And that's just me. I'll bring that corner out because I like it. And then to me, it's a little nicer on the eye. For me. Especially when you're inspecting it up close. Of course, there's not a lot of paint in this container. My main goal is to get, the other day didn't realize I was painting way lower than I should have off the scaffold here. But my main goal is to get to where I can just paint off the floor, because I'm more comfortable. You're less likely to accidentally step off your scaffold if you're right on the ground. And always be aware of your surroundings if you're on the floor, because the tarp, or the paint cans, or the brushes, or people, or whatever. Plus, it's to me, it's nicer to have paint above me, or at the height. Like right here is tedious for me, this angle here, plus there's no light. I mean, if I was doing this professionally, I'd probably have my headlamp on, or I'd have some brighter lights. I wouldn't be just using the room light. It's getting daylight outside, so the natural light's coming in, which is nice. I can step back a little. I was doing yesterday as I was using my other cell phone if I needed it to check a spot. I like painting the corner really nice. Try and give it a dark color. Plus I don't like finding a white spot left in a corner. So that's what I do. Now when I get here, what I do different. There I go top to bottom. Here I go bottom to top. Just because I can't really see that, and I'm going to touch it up when I get to the ground level. But I'd rather paint up to where I'm stopping, where I can actually comfortably see it when I stop painting. I don't like continuing to paint down. I don't know why. Just always have. So from there, I got enough light here, even though it's a soft light, not the bright light. Feels so bad. I'll paint the screw first. Painting the screw in the wall is two different techniques. You paint the screw, then you paint the wall. As far as I'm concerned. We took out most of the other, but she wanted this hook left, so yeah. One less thing I have to put in and take out. I mean, either way, it doesn't matter. If you take it out, you're going to have a patch job. And you try and color match it. Fill it in with plaster. Put a hook in a different spot, cover it with the picture. But I always try to at least fill it with plaster knowing it's going to get painted later, because I don't like the little holes laying around without painting them. Bugs get in and out of them, potentially, if you get a bug. You don't want a bug getting from inside out or outside in either. And hopefully you don't have a bug, but if you do, just one less chance you got a bug coming through that hole, because it's not going to be there. Some people go through the drywall. This one goes in the stud, so there wouldn't be no bug coming out of there unless you dug through the studs. Which is, we don't have that, luckily. So, I don't know. There's some little speckles. Alright, well, I'm going to have to try and touch it. It's against my better judgment. Definitely some. I got a little fan running pointing towards the window, but it's actually drying this wall. And you can see it's drying this wall. But it's allowing me to retouch that just by, now that I'm off of it, giving it a chance to dry a little. That's the time to touch it. And we're not putting a second coat. This is still the top coat. And this honestly, if I get all these little streaks, it is not going to, that line that's there, I just don't like it, so I'm going to brush over it because it's blending. That way when I look up there, I can't see it because I know it's there. And if I do this, I've now hit it, my eyes won't see that no more. I won't see that line. So I've blended it. That's usually, it's just funny how some things that you paint, you think people will notice and nobody, some painters might notice, but a lot of people will never notice your little mistakes or errors. A lot of people look at them and they don't even know what they're looking at. Same with construction, unless you're a builder or a painter, if it's something that's not hazardous or anything like that, obviously. It's a different scenario. This little stuff like that tricks the eye. At least that's what it does to me, so. I should use a different brush. I don't really want to waste the skills of the cut brush here. Now this one, I think I'm going to go just because it's easier, quicker, faster. It's right by the window. Most people are going to have curtains over there, so they're not going to see right next to the window. We try to keep a curtain that's just on the inside of the window so it doesn't overlap like drapes. So it actually doesn't cover it as much, but most people don't notice this stuff here. And if they do, this is just straight, so it doesn't have to blend as much. But usually, I like to blend it all and take the time to do this. Because it's just nicer when you touch it. So at least at eye level where people can see it. But then what it's doing is it's streaking my paint a little, which will be hidden when I roll this wall. But we're only using a quart of paint here first. And it should be plenty. Except you get overzealous with your painting. Not that I'm going to do that. Alright, I gotta step down. Ooh. That's what you don't want to do. Some idiot touched the paint spot. I don't know who they are, but somebody touched this paint spot. When I find them, I'm going to talk to them. I might be talking to them right now. Okay. There, now I feel much better. Get the scaffold. The walk plank, scaffold, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to check the video. Take the walk to check the video. See how the cutting's going. Yeah, it's still going, so I'm going to leave it going for now. It's awful that I do. There you go. Just a slice of the outside, huh? Oh, that's what I was trying not to do. I don't want to spin it. Alright, so this is... They're moving lower. It's still running, so I'm going to let it go. Watch the paint dry. I think I'm gonna I don't know if this is in the video, I think it is, but anyways, take some of that paint. I'm leaving some paint in the brush, don't get me wrong. Put it in the grocery bag, tucking it up in here. I'm not crushing the bristles by any means. I'm actually making sure they're flat. And then I just go like this and I twist the bottom tight. So that saves your brush for a few hours. I've done it overnight. I had one where the paint was so thick and the rollers, like it was a couple days, but I try not to do that because it could dry out and ruin it. So it was an outside thing. So anyways, this is the greatest thing. I can't remember what year I learned this, years ago. So it works good. If you have to and you're going to do more than a couple days, you know, you can use probably good sealed baggies, but you might want to double them up. Like I said, this is 2 bags, but usually I'll use up to 5. Just to keep all the air out. You know, if you have a vacuum sealer, hey, maybe that'll work. But anyways, starts getting warm. Remember to hydrate. I think I'm gonna crack open a new brush. When I say new, this is the, I call it, this actually is in there. I love these little brushes. They're $100. Sometimes you get 2 of them. I like them. You gotta watch the bristles though. You will get bristles in your paint. Usually after the first or second time, there's no bristles left. that are falling out. There's still plenty in the brushes, but there's no bristles left to fall out of the brush. That's what I meant. You know, they're cheap brushes, but I don't mind them. I bought like almost 10 of the darn things, 10 different sizes. You know, I mean, it was probably 6 or 8, but you get a whole variety of sizes in case you need them for little places or techniques. And then, of course, you can still buy your good $10 brushes, which is good to have. That cut brush is probably $8 or $10. I don't even know. But these are just nice. You can fly right through them. To me, they're not as thick. It's almost putting like a lighter cover of paint on, which is perfect for what we're doing. Just so, because we're just trying to cut, but it's still thick paint and it's covering it nice. More gentle. Maybe that's why you can fly right over the stuff a little better. And since this is, I'm not trying to cut it because, I mean, it's still cutting, but it's taped. So the technique's totally different when it's taped to me. You can be softer, you can be faster. I mean, I don't know how to paint fast anyways. I can paint faster for me, but I don't know how to paint fast. My daughter wants to paint, so I'm going to save this low stuff for her, even the cutting. Because I want her to get some techniques about that. I am going to paint the outlet. I'm going to paint the outlet in that corner. Definitely going to paint the outlet. Oof. Alright. Excuse me. Alright, I'm going to start a new video there because cutting the bottom is different. Alright, to me.